This is literally my first car, and it's done like 240 odd thousand miles. A couple of years ago I decided it'd be a good idea to take the engine out and put something a bit better in, and it's literally sat without an engine for that whole time. I did actually start sort of de-seam sealing it. I don't like the idea of de-seaming it, but quite like the idea of de-seam sealing it, as you can see. Yeah, so I've now got a new engine. So I've got a 1.8 DX out of the Mark 1 GTI. I believe the engine was actually tuned by GTI Engineering. I wasn't able to get the plaque with the engine, so I might just tell people, but I've got no way of proving it. Yeah, so this is going to be the plan, or the goal is to get this done over the next couple of months. I've got a little bit of welding to do. It's quite common for these Mark 1s in particular for the flywheel to tear around where the clutch cable goes through. You can kind of see all the niceness. It was actually repaired by my brother when I first started driving it. Yeah, so we paid it. The caddy's actually not that rusty. There's a couple of patches, obviously you can see here. We've obviously quickly welded that patch up. It's not the neatest job in the world, but obviously you can see the patch I've just welded in, and like any old Volkswagen, I thought I'll fiddle with other rust holes, and that is one that's just reared its little face, so I'm going to give that a little grind. So to actually get the conversion all wired in, I used the local mechanic. He actually has a shop that's fairly local to our unit. So he came and picked up the caddy to get that all wired in. And you can see here that actually it was just a case of working out why the engine wasn't sparking. So he's got all the sort of correct tools to do that. It's not something that I'm actually sort of able to do. So he ran over the engine to get it going, and I think he managed to get it started on easy start, so obviously it was sparking fine, but we're still having issues with the, I think it's called a fifth injector, so that's something he's going to come back and check over. Whilst Matt was going over the wiring, me and Bronte moved on to the back part of the coffee truck. Obviously we started with the measurements, and then we sort of moved on from there.
41.5 and then 44.5. Did the other side. 50.
Okay, so whilst the caddy's off being wired in, we're sort of measuring and looking into the walker top that's going to be turned into the coffee sort of side of things.
Excuse the mess, we're having a tidy up. What was this meant to be in originally? Caravan?
No, like a removal, or to make it more of a van.
Oh, okay. So this sits on top of the caddy, and this is what we're going to have as our coffee shop.
So I'm really excited.
I don't know whether... We don't know whether we're going to have like a half, like a shelf to about here, and then have the fridge up top. We were talking about that the other day, wasn't we? Talk to me.
Talk to me. No spucking. Front of my unit. Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. That bitch. So we have another beautiful day. I think I might have got a little bit sunburned yesterday, but yeah, we've got another beautiful day. I'm going to wheel the caddy out and the engine. Bron's going to keep cleaning that. And we've got, yeah, a few more little bits of welding to the engine bay. Then we're going to do a bit of sanding, a bit of filling, and then we are good to put the engine back in. How's it going, Mud?
Bad.
Looks decent. The whole idea behind the truck is never to be, you know, a show truck. It really is just meant to be a nice, clean coffee truck. Something that's like a, you know, a conversation piece. For the people who have followed this channel for a while, you would remember this time last year we had our T25 T3 parked in the exact same spot, looking just as sorry for itself. And I'll probably repeat myself, but earlier in this video I basically summarised first car and we're going to turn it into a coffee truck. So some of this video was filmed before the COVID-19 outbreak and some of it's filmed during, so this is like our escape from home. At the beginning of the video, engine was out, then it was in, now it's out. The plan is to weld in a little patch. So the plan is to weld a little patch in there. It's a really common area for Mark 1 Golfs. To tear through the firewall and the clutch cables what goes through there. The other bit of welding I've got to do is there, and then another tiny bit of welding there. And so once that welding's done, the engine will go back in. So I'm going to degrease all the engine bays. You can see where the engine's knocked going in. It's sort of giving it sort of nasty greasy bits where the paint won't stick to. The plan now is obviously to fill over that, get it nice and smooth, get some high build primer on there as well, or what's it called, acid etch primer, sorry. And then we will smooth that off, make it nice and neat, and then we'll paint over it again. Same story there really. Obviously I'm going to degrease the engine bay now. The plan originally wasn't to paint any lower than here, so probably what I'll do is I'll just clean it as best as I can. I'll then score the surface with a sort of nice fine grit sandpaper, and then give that a quick blow over. But really you can see the line that I'm going to follow. Yes, we are making really good progress. Hopefully the paint turns up by sort of midweek next week. We can get the bay painted and then potentially next Sunday the engine can go back in for the last time. Once that's done, it's just a case of plumbing the coolant system up, figuring out what parts we need to order, and then it's basically good to go. Once we've done the engine bay, so it running, we'll then get the windscreen back in. Actually, to be fair, I have just forgot about, a pretty major bit. As you can see, there's no seat runners there or latches. This is because when I was about 17, well, I'd say 16, I was offered a set of BMW E36 seats, and they are lovely seats. But I decided it'd be a brilliant idea to cut out the runners and then weld in those seats. And in doing so, I've basically ruined it. So I've got to think about my options now, really. I think probably what I'll do is I'll weld the runners back in. I'm going to try and get hold of Mark 1 Golf frames. And I've just bought a set of really beautiful Ford, I think it's it, Escort RS2000 seats with the fishnets. Yeah, fishnets, I know, pretty cool. So that'll finish that. What work have you done today, Bronte?
Cleaned the engine.
How much have you cleaned it?
Loads of it.
Right, so let's have a look at Bronte's hard work. We have got the gearbox almost done-ish. Ish.
Done.
And then if we come round, Bronte's done a good job here, look at that.
You did that bit.
They don't know that. So we literally, I say we, but Bronte's now doing it, haven't washed the caddy aka Glenda. What do you reckon? 5 years?
Yeah.
So it's 5 years.
4 years, I reckon.
4 years. There we go, Glenda, the coffee maker. Truckhiato.
You got the keys. Now shut up and drive.
How's it going?
Are you videoing me?
Nope. What are you up to?
Trying to mask stuff off so that when you paint, you don't make too much of a fuckery of it.
What am I going to do anyways?
Make a fuckery of it.
Hell yeah. You're used to that hand motion, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm scrubbing the dishes.
So that's the engine bay all undercoated. We've filled, sanded, undercoated it now. It's all masked up. Ultimately, we are just waiting on the paint to arrive. I believe it's coming from Germany. It might be Northern Ireland though. Ultimately, we're going to wait for that to arrive. As always, thank you for watching. If you want to see where the build's at before the videos are released, we've got an Instagram for the truck. It's called Truckhiato. And yeah, as always, thank you. If you've got any questions or queries, feel free to comment below or even fire me a message.